Welcome everybody to the Third Touch Soccer Podcast. My name's Sam Leamy. I'm here with Connor Walsh and Michael McLaughlin. How you doing, lads?
Good, buddy. Mike, we miss you up here. We're used to you being in the same room as us now. You're back to being a famous internet personality.
Yeah, I'm real famous on the internet.
How famous?
I'm so famous. I hate the internet. Anyway, you guys, come on, talk about it. Champions League, let's go. What's up?
All right, we're going to jump straight into the Champions League. But I mean, Real Madrid won.
Sam, how was your weekend? How you doing? What's up?
It was all right, dude. I worked a lot. Connor and I worked a lot.
I worked every day this weekend.
Yeah,
and we were absolutely slammed at the bar yesterday, which made for... It was borderline overwhelming.
I played some outdoor footy today.
Yeah. How was It was Champions League. It was like, did you guys have to stop letting people in?
No, well, it wasn't that busy last year, and it was Memorial Weekend last year, and it was... Who was it last year?
Madrid and Atletico.
Yeah, the two Madrids. And kind of prepped for it, had two bartenders on.
We had two bartenders, a barback, and a bouncer on last year for the
Really?
final. Yeah.
And it wasn't needed. So this year I thought, Connor and I would be able to handle it. About an hour and a half before the game started, it was getting busy. I was like, we're fucked here. And one of our friends came in. And
Former guest of the program, Chris Custer.
Yeah.
Used to bartend at the bar, for our listeners that don't know. And he showed up to watch the game, and if it wasn't for him popping by on the bar on a whim to help out, we would have been in dire straits.
Save the
Shout
day.
out to Chris Custer.
Shout out to Chris Custer.
Uncle Matt gave his hand behind the bar as well for a little bit.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he had
Oh,
to.
did he start just
Yeah,
pouring the incorrect beers and messing up the change and everything?
Yeah, shout out to Uncle Matt out there. But Real Madrid winning the Champions League, 3 out of the 4 past seasons, 4-1 over Juventus. We saw nothing of the game yesterday. Saw highlights today, saw reports today, but Michael Carrick had a big day today for Manchester United, playing in this testimonial for Manchester United. The former,
What is that? What is that? Can you just explain it?
Okay,
it's
the
so
former,
stupid.
How is it that stupid? The former Tottenham star coming to Manchester United. If you play 10 seasons for a club in England, you're entitled to a testimonial, and that's up to the player himself. And you're honored. Okay. You're honored to play a game, and you raise money for charity, even though you're still playing for that club. Like Michael Carrick has been offered another contract for next season. Wayne Rooney's already had his testimonial, and he's younger than Michael Carrick. But if you honor the club for 10 seasons or longer, you're entitled to
get a game. Well, explain that. What that means? You get a game, right? You get to choose 11v11, like of all-star.
It's usually like a
ex-player.
11 of the players you played with and 11 of world-class talents that at least have to respect you somewhat to show up and play in the game. But
it seemed pretty competitive, and there was a star-studded lineup there. There was Vidic was back, Evra was back, Giggs was back, Van der Sar was in goal,
Scholes
was
Rooney.
playing.
How'd Scholes look?
He was all right.
Ginger. No
but
soul.
Vidic took it very seriously. He's going in for like flying tackles. He actually scored. Robbie Keane played for the other team. Mendieta played. Robbie Keane scored a real nice goal. It seemed very competitive, and to top it all off, Michael Carrick scored a goal 8 minutes from time, just to for the fans.
A lot of olaying
for charity, but it seemed pretty competitive, and they were taking it kind of seriously. 2-2 draw. Man United against World 11.
Yeah, and I think I was just thinking about it as we were talking about this, that testimonials in general might be a somewhat thing of the past, because you're not going to have many players staying at a club for 10 years anymore. It's just the nature of the game.
Sanchez for Arsenal.
Go on. Go on. Funny.
Who's the longest ever Arsenal player right now in the side?
Theo Walcott.
Yeah.
Imagine a Theo Walcott testimonial.
He's probably entitled to a testimonial. Yeah, he's entitled.
He's getting close.
No, 2006. He signed when he's definitely entitled to a testimonial.
Yeah, no, you're right. Jeez. No one's turning up for that. No one is showing up for that game. And he wouldn't even find 11 players to play against. They're going to play the under-21s or something.
Right. But, that's sad. But yeah, you're right. I don't think
maybe he'd grab his old speed coach from Southampton when he was 12 years old.
I'll be there in the stands.
That's true.
But yeah, we got a lot on the podcast today.
From
We
Mr.
have
Yep.
the Champions League that happened yesterday, final, concluded the European season. Real Madrid prevailing Juventus 4-1.
Juventus goal, though.
Right, we'll get there, Mike. So,
Tranquilo.
the U20s, the U20 World Cup continued this week. We're into the knockout stages. USA men's back in action against Venezuela yesterday. And yeah, we're going to preview the upcoming World Cup qualifiers for the US on Thursday against Trinidad and Tobago and Wednesday against the arch rivals Mexico. Sunday. Which is like the worst day of the week to play from a business perspective, I think. But
You manage a soccer bar?
yeah.
Sick.
Sam, is that a number 2 soccer bar in America?
I actually played some footy today, actually. Yeah, some outdoor footy. I joined a new club.
Oh, what's it
Don't
called?
care. But
Yeah, exactly.
Real Madrid, Ronaldo again, turning up for a final in Wales, Cardiff. Connor and I managed to see 0 minutes of the game.
Well, can I be honest? I managed to see every goal somehow in the midst of. That's all I saw was the goals, which is rare. Usually you miss the goals working, but I was able to see every goal, and I mean I wanted Madrid to win, and I expected them to win. I talked to a kid at the bar who had $100 on Juventus, avid listener of the show. Shout out our avid listener who put $100 on Juventus and lost it, but
And they were even as well, Juventus.
yeah.
God knows what Real Madrid were. I didn't even see the odds, but they must have been favourites. But do you see any of the game, Michael?
I saw the whole game, but you know, I just thought the Juventus goal was great. You know, that was to me the highlight of the game. But then also Ronaldo's finishes were awesome.
Right. I mean, we're going to break down the game for you guys who really didn't watch the game. Hopefully you did. The most important game of the season. But it just seems like Real Madrid are starting to dominate this tournament, you know.
Yo, let's be honest.
Like-
let's be honest, dude. We don't care about the game. Like, it's boring. Like, we're not into it.
I wanted to watch it.
That was probably my favorite shift ever. I had so much fun at the bar yesterday, and I was so hyped for the game. I was legitimately excited for the game. Real excited. I love Real
You
Madrid.
sure? Like, you really? No, I wasn't into it. I knew Real Madrid was
Just
going to
because
win.
there wasn't an English team in it. Is that one of the reasons? If you throw in a...
I don't know what it is. Like with Real Madrid, it's just you're not. If they're not playing like Barcelona or Atletico or a big English team, it's kind of like I just feel like they're going to run them over.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is, they conceded more goals yesterday. Juventus conceded more goals yesterday than they had in the entire Champions League up to this
It
point.
was 3 goals in 12 Champions League games that Juventus have conceded up until the final, and they had to dispatch Barcelona, Monaco, and if they were to win the final, Real Madrid, who combined have scored 499 goals across the whole Europe in all competitions this season.
Really?
Yeah. So Real Madrid...
It's a stat for you,
Real Madrid,
Americans.
There you go. Real Madrid took that over 500, 503 to be exact. But any surprises in that lineup, in the Juventus lineup or Real Madrid lineup? Gareth Bale, we know, hasn't been fit all season. He wasn't surprised to be on the bench. I was actually surprised he was on the bench. He's been training overtime just to get even close to that starting lineup. But any surprises, Connor, that how Juventus started up? I think like they might have left themselves a little bit exposed in the midfield, and Dybala and Higuain really didn't show up in this game. And I'm starting to question Higuain's impact as like an expensive striker here.
I don't
Especially in
know
finals.
quite about. In finals, yes, he hasn't turned up in either the World Cup final or actually in 2 Copa America finals as well, and then this final. But I was actually more surprised, and I don't even know if it's a talking point, but Zidane threw his son on the bench, which I thought was a cool move. I think that's a pretty confident move, and hey, why not? If you know you're gonna win the Champions League, throw your son on the bench. But shout out to Enzo Zidane. But no, I thought it was a pretty expected lineup for both teams. I maybe thought we would have seen more of Cuadrado. However, he got a red card later in the game for, I don't know, somewhat controversial call. But
Yeah, Ramos played that, definitely.
I saw a camera angle. It was a fan's angle from the stands, and he definitely stomped on him.
Right.
But it's not what mainstream media wants you to
Was Enzo-
believe.
Was Enzo Zidane just at the end of the bench, like eating popcorn with like, a
Yeah.
big smile on his face?
Yeah, he was so hype. You're the best seat in the house.
Well, let's
That's
break
pretty
it
cool.
down. I mean, the game started. It was kind of end to end at the beginning, and then Ronaldo, a really cool finish after 20 minutes. And I've seen the goal again and again today. And Chiellini was at fault for the game. You give Ronaldo like an inch of space, he's going to punish you, especially with how he can finish. But Ronaldo's running at Chiellini, and then he plays it out wide. Chiellini runs with the ball and just leaves Ronaldo. Ronaldo really doesn't have to do much, and he has, 5-6 yards.
I was impressed by the ball back too. Was that Casemiro or who put that ball back? Carvajal?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't care. Oh, too busy to care. But it was the pass back then was real nice, and then bottom left corner.
And then Juventus came back into the game. Mandzukic scoring an absolute unbelievable goal. That when that first cross came in, the ball didn't hit the ground. But how good was that finish, Mike? Was that one of the best Champions League goals you've ever seen?
I thought so, and I thought, oh shit, Juventus is gonna come make a little comeback here. And the guy was so excited. How do you say his name? Mandzukic.
And he, he played great in the semi-final. And Higuain, we talk about Higuain again. It's like a guy who costs that much and plays for Argentina should be turning up for these finals. Like the World Cup final against Germany, he missed a couple of chances. In the Copa America final, he's tried to be too cute with a few finishes. But for someone who's had that many opportunities and cost that much, I'm sorry, he's coming to the latter stages of his career now, and he really hasn't turned up for any final.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no doubt he was wildly overpriced and should not have been purchased for that amount. But Juventus was chilling on that Pogba money, and they had money to blow. But no, you're right. He hasn't turned up in finals for his team, and I kind of feel unfair criticizing him though, based off how little of the game I actually was able to sit and focus and watch. But you're right.
Yeah, true.
He didn't do enough. Obviously, didn't score. I saw Dybala do a few nice things a couple times.
I mean, I think he was dropping back a lot, Dybala. He wasn't getting in the box, and they really didn't have... I mean, overall, Real Madrid, I felt like, dominated the game. There wasn't a huge possession swing here, 56-44. But in terms of chances, Real Madrid definitely had the majority of the chances. And when Mandzukic scored that goal, do you think Zidane was sitting on the bench? Do you remember the goal Zidane scored?
In 2000 against Leverkusen.
Yeah.
That's probably regarded as the best Champions League goal ever in a final. What's the 88th minute, 89th minute winner?
It's great. Roberto Carlos down the wing and gets deflected up and taking a volley from a standing
left-footed.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Me and Sam were talking yesterday after we got out of work. We went out for a couple of drinks and just chilling out. We were talking about the best goal we ever had seen live, and in my opinion, that may have been the best goal I've ever watched live. Just because the ball.
You said Joe Cole against Sweden.
No, we were debating it. I said Joe Cole against Sweden was great. Maxi Rodriguez against Mexico was great, but that goal just happened in such slow motion, and I was just pouring a beer and just stopped midway through the beer and just was watching like it unfold, and it was such an impressive goal because the ball didn't hit the ground after the cross. And it was, I don't know, it was really, really impressive, and shout out to Mandzukic for, scoring a memorable goal.
I'm trying to think of the greatest goal I've ever seen live when you're watching it live.
It's got to be Gareth Bale, buddy. One of it.
Well, you know what? The Gareth Bale goal against West
Bale
Ham.
had sick goals.
Gareth Bale against West Ham was one of the best goals I've seen live. But
I mean, I am partial to Donovan against Algeria.
I mean, that was a big moment, but as far as the quality of goal...
the one he smashed to the top of the net or whatever.
Oh, against
Slovenia.
Oh, wait, no, that was against Slovenia. Slovenia, my bad. I don't even know my Donovan goals. No, you know what the best one I saw live was Dempsey against Juventus.
Really?
Yeah, the one he did chipped, that was pretty dope.
The Europa Cup semifinal.
But I mean, it takes so much skill, Mandzukic, to take that and to generate that much power, and it wasn't like just the ball was so close to his body, and he's a tall guy, and to generate that much power from that position, I thought was absolutely incredible. And as just like a neutral in that game, I had to like cheer and get excited for that goal.
I went crazy. I celebrated every goal, honestly. I was just hype.
Yeah, if you're a neutral fan in that bar, you're celebrating every goal.
And I will say, as far as, I don't know about the general population, but as far as the 300 or 400 people or so in the bar, it was definitely extremely pro Juventus, like by a long shot. By a long shot.
When Juventus scored that goal, did a guy get up on a table and go, "I'm Italian, fuck you"?
No.
There was that one Italian. You know who I'm talking about. He was there.
What was that? When Italy won the 2012, was that the Euros?
No, they got
Euros?
they got to the final, but they knocked England out on penalties. And there was a small
right,
contingent of Italians in the corner, just like swearing at myself and Mark behind the bar. It's like we knew this was going to happen. We knew we were going to lose on penalties.
You get sworn at?
Yeah,
he got up on that center table as everybody's leaving. He just stands. He's got his Italian jersey. He's just pointing at everybody. He goes, "I'm Italian, fuck you. I'm Italian, fuck you." And he had his medallion thing or whatever. And he's like, "Fucking Jesus Christ." It was crazy. And then I know that guy. I met him later. He's a DJ. And I was like, "Do you even like soccer?" He's like, Nah, soccer's gay, bro."
Yeah, he was there. He was there yesterday. He actually played in our soccer league. Couldn't take a corner kick. But then Casemiro, from first viewing, I thought it was an absolute golazo from 30 yards, but it did take a heavy deflection off Khedira, and it went in the only place in the goal where Buffon couldn't save it, I thought. And he was very unlucky. And talking about Buffon, after this game, if he...
I just heard he had his third testimonial.
Yeah, he's been playing for 3 decades. But I mean, shout out to Buffon. He's been through everything with Juventus, and I don't know how he's going to come back mentally after this game, because he was on course for a Ballon d'Or if he kept a clean sheet in this game. 100%. Yeah.
Can I raise a little side point? Chicharito tweeted out after the game that he thinks Luka Modric should win the Ballon d'Or, and I think there's a lot of people that would make that case, and I almost think there should be a Ballon d'Or per position: forward, midfielder, defender, goalkeeper.
But it wouldn't be that relevant. That's what the whole team.
I know that, I get that, but I'm just like, the last decade has been so obviously heavy Messi, Ronaldo, and there's been so many. Iniesta maybe could have won one. Xavi maybe could have won one. Guys like Modric, or maybe even Toni Kroos.
Well, don't they do the same ceremony? Don't they do the best team
They do the World 11, and Modric will definitely be on that World 11. But it's just, I think that the individuality of the Ballon d'Or.
I didn't know Modric be on that World 11. He's probably, even when he was at Tottenham, he's underrated.
He's definitely an unsung hero. Yeah, Luka Modric is definitely an unsung.
Yeah,
hero.
you could make the same case for Iniesta and Xavi. I mean. What are you doing there, buddy?
I was fixing my headphones. They were hurting my ear. You ever put a headphone in your ear and then you pull it out? It's like, ow. It's like when you're wearing like a winter hat and you go skiing and you take it off and then your hair hurts. All right, whatever, guys.
But Casemiro scoring that goal on the hour mark, and then Ronaldo scoring a few minutes later, kind of put the tie to bed. And going back to De Bayer as well, just getting that yellow card early. And just being kind of inexperienced on the big game, platform there for him. He's up against a lot of competition for Argentina, and he's still pretty young, but has accomplished so much for Juventus. Winning, 3 Serie A's now.
He's won one every year. He's been there. Well, it's been 1 year because they signed him. 1 year because they signed him from Palermo last year.
But first Champions League final, and getting booked early, maybe trying to impress, being nervous, young kid. I think that kind of affected his game. But Ronaldo, just after the hour mark, putting the tie to bed, I thought, and then Cuadrado just getting 2 yellow cards in the space of, I think it was 5 minutes.
Just about.
10 minutes. But Gareth Bale did come on. The game was at Cardiff. Got a standing ovation. I didn't think he was going to get a minute of play if the game was close. Do you think?
Well, do you think that the fact the final was in Cardiff has something to do with it? Him playing, or it was just simply the fact that...
I think the fact that Gareth Bale came on before Cuadrado got sent off, but the game, it was 3-1. There was still a possibility of Juventus getting back into the game, but I think just honouring Gareth Bale in Cardiff. I had something to do with it, yeah. But
That was a nice move by Zidane.
Yeah, Isco's done so well recently for Real Madrid, and
other than Ronaldo, he's been the best player of
Yeah.
Madrid this season by a long shot in league and the Champions League.
but and then Asensio in the final minutes wrapping up the game 4-1, and that was it. Real Madrid on course, made history, right?
Mike's so bored. I have a question for
No,
you guys.
I'm not bored. I don't like talking shit about Gareth Bale. He's been injured the whole year. It's not his fault. He's a beast. He's the fastest player still in the league on the ball. And Isco, whatever. I don't like his name. I always hate it when I click on Real Madrid and see that Bale's on the bench and Isco played. Bale is to me their best. If Ronaldo was gone, Bale would be their number one guy.
Nah.
I don't think in that sense in the Bernabeu he can take games by the scruff of the neck. I really don't.
He did that with Tottenham.
He did at Tottenham. He was comfortable there.
Finishing 6th place with Tottenham.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different.
There's so much pressure, and Gareth Bale coming up. You know, when he was at Tottenham, they weren't expected to accomplish anything. Being at a club expecting to win leagues, cups, etc. I don't think a Gareth Bale can do that, and that might be coming a little bit harsh.
Think you're racist.
That sounds pretty harsh.
I really do. I really.
But
think
Ronaldo's come. Ronaldo
from
when he was
England can't be the number one guy in the world.
David Beckham could. David Beckham was a winner. He won trophies at Man United. He went to Real Madrid and won trophies.
Why can't Gareth Bale be a winner? He's already won.
What's he won? What did he win at Tottenham?
He's won 3 Champions Leagues. Whatever the fuck they won. Whatever Real Madrid. And he won the Copa del Rey single-handedly.
It's probably the defining moment. It's probably the biggest moment of his career. Was winning
Ronaldo's won these trophies, not Gareth Bale. He had one good Champions League final against Madrid when he scored that header. But he didn't win jack for Tottenham.
The problem is he needs the ball. He needs space and the ball. This other guy's got it all the time. Isco would be a great second player for Bale, like a nice little, you know.
But he's starting over Bale and producing more. But anyway, I have a question for you guys. Yeah. Is Keylor Navas the best player in CONCACAF currently?
Yeah, he's all right.
I mean, he's a keeper, right? I mean, he's at that high level, and
he's pretty consistent. You know. He doesn't really put a foot wrong. I mean, he really didn't have that much to do yesterday, to be honest.
I know, but in general, I mean, he is, without a doubt, one of the top 3 keepers in the world.
We're going to get into it, right? We're going to talk about the USA Venezuela game last night, right? The men's friendly.
We'll get there.
Well, I think there's another guy that might be the best.
We'll get there in a minute. We'll
boy.
Is Kalen?
It has to be.
And it doesn't have to be. No, I don't know if it has to be.
It has to be.
I think Kenwyne Jones has put in some good back-to-back games for Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, on to the under-20s.
Don't forget about Jesus. Charleave Joseph? Nah, who's the guy playing? Whatever.
Charlie Davies?
No. I was thinking of the guy who's playing New England Revolution for years.
Charlie Davies.
No. Jamaican dude. Black dude. Charlie, I don't know.
Batsy Boya?
Yeah, there you go. There's his name.
But yeah, moving on. Congrats to Real Madrid, who are probably going to win the next 3 Champions League.
Especially
there's no team
that's sign Mbappe.
There's no. Do you think that's Benzema's?
Wait, can we talk about? Are you going to talk about
Benzema?
What's up?
Benzema. Should we talk about Benzema for a second?
Yeah. I think it might be, honestly, now that you bring it up, just because they are going to sign, I think, either a player like Aubameyang or a player like Mbappe. And Benzema is getting older. He's, 28, 29 now. Mm-hmm. He loves prostitution. He loves slum football. And I think that they might try to bring in a more refined individual to carry them on to the future, because you have to also start to consider how they're going to replace Ronaldo.
Well, this is all Real Madrid have to do. They're obviously the best team in the world right now. There's no question about that. They've been the best team in the world for the last 2 seasons.
Last 4 years, you could argue.
With Barcelona up there, but all Real Madrid have to do is recycle the older players to younger players and just balance it out from position to position. You can't have you just have a mix of like older guys, and as soon as those top guys start declining, that's when you replace them. Yes, of course, Ronaldo's going to be the hardest player to replace. There is not going to be someone like Ronaldo for another 10, 20 years, I would say.
If ever.
Yeah, if ever. But replacing a Benzema, there's obviously he's declining. He's reached his peak, and now he's declining. So as a coach for Real Madrid or a president for Real Madrid, it's easy to replace him with the next best thing, which is going to be Mbappe from Monaco. Done. And he's going to go there. And you can attract him as the greatest team in the world at this present time.
Yep. Mbappe is the only player that honestly makes sense just going forward. It has to be Mbappe. It has to be.
You know, when you look at Sergio Ramos, he's still at the top of his game, even though he's getting older. But as soon as he starts making a few mistakes and coming down, then you replace him with the best defender who's up and coming. John Stones. Walk into it. Michael Owen said he could walk into that. He's the only Englishman that could walk into the Barcelona team. Michael Owen said that last season.
Yeah, it was probably the peak of his.
Real Madrid players, they do look glamorous. Like
dude, I'm serious, bro. There's something about Real Madrid that just makes them different. I don't know if that sounds wicked.
Those Barcelona teams in 2011, 2012, 2013 were better than these Real Madrid teams, I think.
Yes.
But Real Madrid, they just look
prestigious. Like
shit.
It's crazy, man. I 100% know what you're
broad
saying.
shoulders, chiseled jawlines, perfect hair, and they're just like killing it, you know?
Well, behind the scenes, they probably have stylists. They have everything. They have...
That's irrelevant. We're talking about on the pitch. Yo, Sergio Ramos is better looking than Cristiano Ronaldo. You heard it here first. Hot take.
Who's the best looking guy in Real Madrid?
Sergio Ramos.
You think?
Oh, dude, he slays, bro.
Who's the best looking guy on no. Okay, let's move on. Okay, under 20 World Cup. Under 20 World Cup. Onto the under 20 World Cup in Korea. We're into the knockout
I want to ask
stages.
one more thing. Is Gareth Bale really going to United? I heard that.
No, he's already committed to Real Madrid next season. Third Touch podcast.
Breaking news. Hot take.
Yeah, he wants to be fit. He's only played 17 La Liga games this season, coming off a surgery this season, and working overtime just to even get on the bench for that Champions League final.
Okay.
He needs rest, he says, from the surgery that he got in January, I believe, February. He needs to rest still, but you know, with the summer coming up, he has time to rest. So I'm not too sure if he's going to go on tour with Real Madrid. Are they coming to the United States, Real Madrid? They are.
Yeah, because they're playing the El Clasico in Miami.
Yeah.
That's the only game. Enzo Zidane will play that game. It's a big chance for him.
Brilliant.
Yeah, sick.
I'm not flying down. I'm not driving down to Miami for that one.
Yeah.
But under 20 World Cup into the knockout stages. USA in the last 16 overwhelming New Zealand 6-0. England also going on to the quarterfinals, which has happened for the US, not for England yet. But USA,
the last 3 times for the USA.
Huh?
The last 3 World U20s we made it to the quarters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So USA men's team, the senior team, played Venezuela in a friendly hours before the U20 guys played against.
Are we doing this chronologically?
No, I'm just saying that this is what happened. We're
going in order of importance.
Yeah. And USA looked good against New Zealand. Thing is, with the New Zealand team, they lost a few players to the senior team for the Confederations Cup, which is coming up in Russia. So overwhelming victory for the US in that last 16. Looked good. Confidence is high. Now you're coming into the Venezuela game in the quarterfinals, 2:00 in the morning, our time today. Venezuela not conceding a goal so far in the tournament.
Yeah, this was the first game that Venezuela conceded the goal, and they're also
11-0,
leading the tournament in goals scored. And I think that they have been not only the biggest surprise of the tournament, but also obviously the most dominant team by a long shot. And beating Germany earlier in the group stage, they've just been extremely dominant, and definitely maybe the worst draw that USA could have gotten, all things considered. And
Yeah, I would say so. I watched. Did you guys watch? I got up. So I watched the whole game.
I actually woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about getting out of bed and watching it, but I didn't.
I had to work at the bar this morning, so I did not wake up for the game.
So how much did you watch of the game, Mike?
I watched the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Live, yeah. And dude, it was like not even close.
Yeah, Venezuela.
Like Venezuela was just whooping. It looked like men against boys. It was like, what the fuck? What the heck? I was so pumped for this. I was telling guys that night that I was hanging out with, you got to see this U20 team. We're sick. Once they get old enough to play with Pulisic, this team we're gonna bring. And then I watched that game, and it really either Venezuela has guys that are 24, 25 in their line age, or Venezuela's team coming up is going to be stacked. That kid Cordova, their striker, is amazing.
It's interesting because the senior team is like the worst team in South America as far as like you look at Copa America, you look at World Cup qualifying, they're in dead last or like next to dead last. But the game was 0-0 going into extra time, correct?
Yeah, well, it was 0-0.
Yeah, I saw some of the highlights, and they had a goal disallowed. They hit the crossbar once or twice.
17 shots. Dude, there wasn't a goal disallowed. Hold on. There was a goal disallowed, and it was right to be disallowed, but it didn't even matter because Venezuela was just crushing it. Dude, Venezuela had 17 shots, and USA had 1.
Wow.
And it was something like 14 corners to like 2. Mm-hmm. And time of possession might have been a little closer, but it was just a total. They were just outclassed, and it sucks because they even had to take Tyler Adams, the best player I thought we've had the whole time. They had to take him off the field because he just couldn't physically hang with these guys.
How much
they just bullied us off the ball every time?
How was Josh Sargent?
He was probably one of the bright spots, but he really couldn't do much. He was on his own. He took a knock on the head. He split his head open a little bit. He had to get a bandage, one of the wrapped, the Peter Cech style, and what happened was once the USA realized how badly they were getting beat, every time they did get the ball, they got all panicky, and they just looked like a USA team that you've been seeing for the last 20 years, like just overmatched and no composure on the ball.
Do you feel like Venezuela scared them out of this game? Because there's no way they were not confident going into this game after finishing top of the group and dispatching New Zealand 6-0.
Venezuela had 2 extra days of rest. I think USA honestly looked tired. Like Brooks Lennon couldn't even beat the left back. Mm-hmm. He could beat every left back the whole tournament to the corner to get a crossing. Couldn't beat him one time. The USA just looked. They did look a little. They looked sluggish, and I was like, oh man, Venezuela's just way better. But maybe the USA was just tired.
Mike, as our resident night owl and U20 World Cup expert, I have 2 questions for you. Was this game like the Ecuador game in the group stage where it was just USA was more or less outpaced, or was it just altogether outclassed in every area of the pitch? And then on top of that how did Herrera from NYCFC play?
He played well, but the back 4 of Venezuela is not that great, so they didn't even play out of the back. They just kicked it up. But I would say Venezuela just beat on every other position. They were better. They were stronger. Dude, they won every 50-50, it felt like. Football. They won everything in the air. They were just better. And then the one kid, Pena, and then the other kid, Cordova, their striker, they were probably the best 2 players on the field.
The guy who scored the first one, the bleached blonde hair?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
he was really good. And then the kid who has like actually a real interesting look. Looks like Fijian or something. Looks like Vijay Singh or something. That's the Cordova kid. He has his hair like slicked over like he's in the 1940s, like working at a car shop or something. And he was sick. But
so you were very impressed with the Venezuelan kids this morning.
Yeah, I was way more impressed. They were. I think they're gonna run away with this tournament. I haven't seen any. They're way better in France.
Well, France are out. France are out now.
I know, but you were saying we were thinking France was the best. I think this team might be. But here's what happened though. Then when USA went 4-4-2 and they took out Sargent, they put in Lagos kid, and his speed actually the USA for the last 10-15 minutes was the first time the game was even, and then they had a lot of opportunities.
So who scored the goal for the US?
Abobise from Portland.
Yeah, Abobise. Yeah, it was a header, but we were down 2-0 at that time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So you must have been up until 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, no. Here's what it is. I got home, and I had it DVR'd, right, when I was like 45 minutes behind. So I'm watching, and now my DVR ends, and I got to go on and try to find the other recordings that are on. I'm watching Bundesliga Report because that's like the first 15 minutes, and then I'm watching like NASCAR because you know how it works, right? When it goes to extra time like that. So I was up to about like 5:30 watching it, and and I'll pause and rewind something, and then whatever, and then I watched the U.S. men's game after that too. So
good transition. Well, before we transition, how?
Well, I want to say to you two is like now that the USA are out, and I know you guys were pumped about this, and the group stages happen. Seems to take a while to go through those group stages, and then it's like instant elimination, just like the World Cup, just like these major tournaments. Now that the USA are out, how are you just totally disinterested in the rest of the tournament now? Or are you still going to follow it and still see what kind of players are in this tournament and where they're from?
Well,
what's your look?
To be honest, I'll probably watch the final, maybe the semifinals, but I mean, in between here or there. I mean, I honestly lost interest when Vanuatu got knocked out. So the USA getting knocked out was just the nail in the coffin. I'm a big Vanuatu guy. Love Oceania. So...
but England is still in it. Okay, let's not bypass England. They managed to get to the quarterfinals. They're playing at 7:00 in the morning our time against the Mexicans. They overcame Costa Rica in the previous round. Lookman scoring looked great. Absolutely dominated the game. I saw most of that game getting ready for work the other day. But how tough are these Mexicans? They're coming off scrappy victory against Senegal, who were unlucky to actually lose that game. I saw some of the highlights. Senegal had a guy sent off. But I think the biggest surprise is Italy beating France, really,
so far,
tournament.
Yeah. And you saw what it meant. For those of you who haven't seen the highlights, the Italian players and the staff went crazy when they won. They act like they won the tournament. Mm-hmm. So you saw what it meant to them, and they knew what they had done. They realized they upset arguably the best team in the tournament. So they're probably riding a high right now against Zambia.
I mean, like Zambia did knock out Germany. I didn't think that was a surprise because I was following Germany. They scraped through the group, and they were actually Zambia were looking comfortable in that last 16 game, 3-1 with like 2 minutes to go, and then Germany just came back. They scored like one outrageous goal and then just got a scrappy goal at the end. The Zambia winning in extra time. But, sorry, Mike. You want to say something?
What I was going to say was that you asked what I would still watch.
Yeah.
Because Venezuela was that good, I want to see how well they do. Because I think that they could run over. But I think Tab Ramos also showed how you might be able to compete with them by changing it up, putting speed up top. He went 4-4-2, put some speed up top. And so, teams could see that and then actually maybe, because I don't think they're that fast on the back four. But I am interested in seeing how well they perform from here on out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Mexicans have always shown that they're good in these youth tournaments, and coming out of this game, they're probably favourites for the game. England traditionally not good in competitions, knockout competitions like this, but they've looked good all through the tournament. They've beat a strong Korea side. They've beat a good Costa Rica team. They've dominated that game, and they took on Argentina, like walked all over them, and they haven't really looked out of place in this tournament. So I think it would pretty much be an even game, but we'll see. I'll be up tomorrow morning. Got to take my kid to school. So the last, what teams are we're going to go?
Yeah, Uruguay, Venezuela. In
the
semifinal, and then tomorrow we'll determine the other semifinal. And just to reiterate, it's Italy versus Zambia and Mexico versus England. And before we leave the U20 World Cup, just for a question for you guys, what are your takeaways from the USA team? My personal ones were the center back partnership of Cameron Carter-Vickers and Eric Palmer-Brown, very effective. Tyler Adams was great. Brooks Lennon had a good tournament. Josh Sargent obviously was leading scorer in the tournament. That may change as the tournament progresses, but I think it was overall pretty good considering the amount of European-based players that were left off.
Mm-hmm.
I could say like this.
All right, go on.
Oh, my bad. You go, Sam. No, Sam.
I just want to say, I think the heartbeat of the team was Brooks Lennon, and the transfer Jurgen Klopp wanted him at Liverpool. I think you can do a lot with him. His delivery on the wing, I thought he seemed the more, I don't know the right word, the more composed player in that team, I would say, just in terms of his consistency and his crossing and the chances he created.
His delivery was very impressive.
Very good.
And
I think you can work with him a lot as well. You know, I think he's a confident young guy, and Jurgen Klopp wanting him at Liverpool shows a lot, to be honest.
Well, they signed him.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, he's on loan at Real Salt Lake right now from Liverpool, and he's from the Real Salt Lake Academy.
So I think that shows a lot.
Yeah,
I think he has a bright future.
I would say him. I was really impressed with Tyler Adams. But I think that if anyone's going to be walking into the senior team anytime soon, it's going to be Carter Vickers, and this is probably maybe even Sargent, and maybe not by the next
I'm
World
not
Cup.
sold on him. I'm really not sold on him.
Yeah, my thing with Sargent is just the body type is so odd. It's not even odd. It's just he's not tall. He's not big. He's not really small. He's not that fast. I mean, I wish the kid the best for the U.S. sake and his own personal sake, but I mean, he was great to watch in this tournament, no doubt. But I just don't know as he gets older. I want to see as he grows. I want to see I think his body type will determine a lot of the type of player he ends up being. Because right now, I don't know what to expect really.
17.
17, yes.
Yeah. 17. Totally judging you 17-year-old kids. But no, he has time to develop. But yeah, I'm not really sold on, even though he was let's just say a smart finisher.
Good finisher. No doubt a good finisher. Yeah. But
he's a good finisher, yeah.
But we'll see.
He likes Robert Lewandowski. That's who he models his game.
No, that's an absolutely totally different body.
He's
that's who he models.
He could be like, he has like kind of a Higuain body type, and look how he turned out. Yeah. Terrible. Doesn't turn up for finals. But yeah, the men's senior team played hours before the U20 game. So Venezuela back to back. Obviously, that wasn't planned out. The friendly was planned months ago. And what's interesting with the build up to the Mexico game, the USA are now playing. They just played a game in Real Salt Lake, high altitude. They're playing the game at home against Trinidad on Thursday in Denver, high altitude, to go to the Azteca on Sunday, high altitude.
Good planning on U.S. Soccer's part.
So, good turnout at Real Salt Lake, I thought. The atmosphere was good. Venezuela looked energetic. I thought they dominated for long periods of the game. Pulisic he played. Did you watch that game? You were out though, right? You were out for that game?
I watched the whole game. I watched the whole game today, yeah.
All right, okay.
What are you going to say, Sam?
No, I want you to do your Pulisic watch. I want you to give us a take on this.
I watched the game, and Pulisic, obviously best player on the team. But here's the thing I had issue with this whole game. It looked like USA was, what were they doing? They just they were like chilling. I mean, how many times they get the ball and they just like chilled, and they looked like they were pretending, like keep it like going 80% most of the time.
Don't you think the altitude got to them?
Well, I wonder if Bruce Arena told him, like, I don't want you guys going full steam here. I want you to feel how it's
good management.
Feel it out or something. Yeah, exactly. That's what I felt like they really weren't going hard at all until maybe about a 20-minute period from like the 55th minute to like the 75th minute or 80th minute. Then they went pretty hard there. But how many times you see Pulisic turn on the ball where he could go at somebody and didn't? That's the first time I've ever seen that kid not go at people, you know?
Well, Bruce Arena probably also said, make sure you don't get injured. And with these two vital qualifying games come up. You know, I saw posts on Facebook today from USA fans calling for Arena's head because of this friendly. Absolute outrageous comments. It's like you have a must-win qualifier in 4 or 5 days against Trinidad and Tobago, the weakest team in the Hex. Like, you have to win that game.
It's a must-win because Sunday in Mexico City, that is
a point's a good result.
Yes, and every 4 years, that is the biggest USA game every 4 years. USA away World Cup qualifying in Mexico City, hands down unequivocally. And they have to beat Trinidad and Tobago. And they're playing at a high altitude on purpose to prepare for that game. However, that could potentially come back and bite them like it may have a little bit on last night in Real Salt Lake. They're playing in Denver, like Sam said. So, it's not a guaranteed result against Trinidad and Tobago, and they need 3 points. And for people that's just, I don't even want to, like, talk about, that's just so absurd for people to be upset with Arena after a 1-1 draw before 2 massive, massive games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he would have been so mad if, a Clint Dempsey twisted his ankle going up for a 50-50 challenge in the air in the midfield. Like, how upset would you be as a coach when he's relayed the message, guys, don't get fucking injured. Just don't
If you're any fan with half a brain, you'd be upset if that happened too. Like, why would you want... This result was fine.
Well, John Brooks took a knock.
Oh, we have to talk about John Brooks real quick because he completed the biggest USA transfer ever this week. $20 million from Hertha Berlin to Wolfsburg. So shout out to him. That's a good move for him. One of the USA's without a doubt best players. So I'm excited about that. But
yeah, I just want to kind of read out some of the Facebook messages. Scrolling across Facebook. I'm not going to expose anyone here, but someone said fire Bruce Arena, obviously thinking it's a joke in capitals, uppercase. And, there's someone who comments that shouldn't have hired him back in the first place. And then someone's like, what could he have done wrong in a friendly? And the reply was just wanted to start the bandwagon early. He's clueless, and with the players and pace we have who started, we shouldn't be playing so damn slow or bad against Venezuela.
Gosh.
And
I'm like getting angry. Can you get rid of this dude? I'm serious. I don't want to look at your phone right now.
And it's a friendly. It's a friendly. At the end of the day, it's a friendly. You're prepping for 2 very important...
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Nagby was great on the ball, but he had much opportunities to go forward and push it, and he would just turn. And I think they were just feeling their way through the game.
Well, yeah,
they went hard.
You can't manage the other team. Like Venezuela looked very energetic. They wanted, for one of the worst teams in South America, coming to America and playing and showcasing yourself and trying hard and potentially playing for an MLS contract, which a lot of these guys are. There's scouts there. All these players for the US have contracts in Europe and at home. And you have players from Venezuela who play for the league, who don't pay big money, as we all well know, with what Venezuela's going through right now. And it's an opportunity for them to showcase themselves as well. So
100%. Yeah, Venezuela was every one of their players was going. I mean, 90 to 100%.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not too familiar with the training
really
regime.
Into my number percentages.
I'm not too familiar with the training regime in Venezuela, but I'm sure they have mountainous areas in their country. I've been to Colombia and Bogota and what's the other big city in Colombia? Medellin.
Medellin, la cocaína, narcotraficante.
Big high altitude places, and Colombia is right next door to Venezuela, so I'm sure that mountainous area is relevant there as well. But a 1-1 draw. We didn't even mention the score, but Pulisic scoring a very nice goal.
Fifth career goal.
Didn't seem like he gave a shit after he scored, though, right? It was just sort of like whatever. Yeah.
So my question to you is the US team now starting to rely on this guy to turn up for games? I mean, obviously we've relayed the message. It's a friendly. It's not that important. They've got through it. They're all healthy for the next 2 games. But
yeah, you could tell.
Do you think
they defer to him? I mean, every player out there is looking to get him the ball. Unless they're in the box or making a move into the box, it looked like almost every time. He's like their first option if he's open.
That's my question to you: is do you think the other players are starting to rely on him, like the US did? They relied on Donovan, 6-7 years ago, to make something happen.
I mean, I think without a doubt, I bet he's respected within the roster, and people recognize the talent he has and his technical ability. And I think anyone understands the situation that's currently happening with Pulisic. But I don't know about rely. I don't know if I want to go that far yet. I really don't know if I want to go that far. But I think time will tell. At some point that'll happen. But do you want to move on from the game?
No.
One thing I want to say was I did like the Pulisic-Nagby partnership, and then Fabian Johnson on the other side. We just controlled that. We controlled the possession of the whole game, and I felt like that was that was one of the better possessions we had.
Yeah.
You guys there? Did I lose you guys?
No, we're still there. You're walking around. I don't know what you're doing. I know you're in your...
Well, I'm trying to get better because you guys are going in and out.
Oh, no,
You're going in and out.
We got you. It's all right.
Am I going? No, you guys going in and out.
No, we're good. But yeah, 1-1 draw against Venezuela. Everyone got through it healthy. Big game this Thursday, 8 p.m. Trinidad and Tobago in Denver. Must-win game for the USA national team. Looking forward to that one. But before we go on to the Gold Cup squad that was announced, it is everyone's favorite section.
No.
It's MLS Week 14 again. I don't know.
Well, last week was Week 13. We were so excited about the episode that we jumped forward a week. But it is Week 14 MLS. There were some midweek games that I didn't take the time to write. Yeah, I didn't take the time to write them down. Don't care. But I'm going to start with Friday night. Portland 2-0 over San Jose. Valeri brace. And despite Portland's recent troubles, they're up to third in the West. So
well, it was the first game Nagby hasn't played. So
yeah,
you know,
Nagby out. Nagby out.
Maybe he's the issue.
Nagby to Celtic. Make Portland great again. Mike isn't like that. But yeah, big win for the Timbers Army, and which was never mind. Well, can I say something?
Yeah.
So last week,
Never mind.
I don't want to.
What? What's up?
Well, last week we had an interesting theme song for MLS section, which was kind of ironic because this week was like LGBTQ equality week with U.S. Soccer and the MLS.
A lot of this. The rainbow numbers on the back of the USA men's jerseys.
It's Pride Month.
It's Pride Month. It's June. Big month.
Oh, cool. All right.
So it was just kind of ironic that this week there's every stadium as a TIFO with something about equality, and last week we have the theme song of the year. But anyway, NYCFC.
It was Immigrant Day the other day, Mike.
I love immigrants. I love gay people too. I mean, you know, I don't do this to me. That looks.
Okay, we're treading muddy, dangerous waters.
Why do the numbers gotta be rainbow? Why the numbers gotta be like? Come on. I mean, I'm not. Okay, whatever.
It's Pride Month, dude.
Yeah, Robbie Rogers don't play on the team.
Okay, so New York City FC 2-1 over Philadelphia at Yankee Stadium.
Fuck you, dude.
No, we know what you mean, bro. This is an all-inclusive podcast.
Fine. I'm gonna buy you that jersey with the rainbow number, and you're gonna have to wear it all. Actually, you would love it. It's a pretty jersey. So
it's pretty. Go on. Anyway,
that's nice,
for the third time, New York City FC 2 over Philadelphia. A real late comeback for the Blues.
So we actually turned this game off. It was 1:00 kickoff. We had some NYCFC fans come in. A guy was wearing a Manchester United jersey. I was like, you can't support Manchester United and NYCFC. Explained to him that Man City own 80% of NYCFC.
No, he had no idea. Then he was so upset that he apologized to Sam because Sam said he was a Man U fan too. The guy was like upset that he supported the team, and it was kind of a weird moment in bar history.
So the bar was getting crazy for the Champions League game. And obviously, we had to turn off the last 15 minutes of the NYCFC game. Put all the We didn't even leave one TV on for the NYC, even though there's fans there. But they got it. I was like, one TV.
I think everyone was there. I think the fact that the New York NYCFC game was on before was just an excuse to come to the bar early. Yeah. And it was just a convenient. It was just a convenient fact.
But when we turned it over, Philadelphia were leading 1-0. And then what happened?
Chennault and Callens, two defenders, score in the 80th and 85th minute. Both first-time scorers in the league. Big late comeback. Kind of a shaky week for the Blues. Conceding late to the Revolution on Wednesday night, 2-2, and then they lost to Atlanta 4-1 last week. But New York is up to second in the East, and I was on the MLS website today just doing some prep work for the episode, and they referred to New York City FC as the Pigeons.
That nickname, or...?
Dude, it's on the website. It was go to the match report. It's right there. I've never heard that before in my 3 years of fandom.
So the Pigeons?
The Pigeons.
Yeah, it's weird.
Kind of whack.
Talking about Pigeons, one of New York City's famous sons, Tommy McNamara, got a haircut.
Now he looks like a toad, so it's kind of like a pigeon. But
he doesn't have the headband, the hairband anymore.
No, dude, he shaved his head.
He's got.
It was kind of weird. Like I kind of like Tommy Mac with the long hair.
And then he got a Gold Cup call up.
Yeah, well,
all right.
We'll get there. Relax, dude. We know you're excited, buddy, but you know we wanted to break the news ourselves. But Mike,
I still got more things to say about those rainbow jerseys. I swear to God.
Be careful.
Okay, what else happened?
We're gonna get kicked off of iTunes. Sporting Kansas City beat the Loons of Minnesota 3-0. The Loons were outshot 27-7. Smallest club in the league. Joke.
Who scored for Sporting Kansas City?
Saeed, a bunch of other tools. Don't care. But I think Sporting Kansas City is still on top of the West. Didn't look it up. Love the MLS, man. What a great league. Vancouver 3-1 over Atlanta. And Ike Para scored.
And Salam.
Yeah.
And yeah, they are top. Yeah.
You're top of the West. You're top of the West. You're a small club. You're top of the West. Apparently, so Vancouver 3-1 over Atlanta, and if you win 3-1 at home in Atlanta, Great Clips, which apparently is a Canadian haircutting place, everyone in attendance gets a free haircut. So about 10,000 people. About 10,000 people in Vancouver are gonna be looking fresh if they turn their ticket in at a Great Clips location. To all of our Vancouver listeners.
Just like any result this season, if Vancouver win 3-1 at home.
That's the thing. It's a promotion. Vancouver wins 3-1. If you're in attendance.
What? I don't get
Tommy McNamara was in attendance?
The
3-1. I don't get it.
No, not 3-1. Just 3-0. If Vancouver scores 3 goals.
Oh, right.
If Vancouver scores 3 goals, Great Clips is handing out free haircuts.
Why don't they give the money to charity?
It's because it's the MLS, and every kid is from the suburbs and had parents that made $100,000 combined, so they don't need to give money to charity.
Fun when you have 2 goals and the fans are like, "We want a haircut." They start chanting and shit. You get a 3rd goal. Fathers pulled their sons up with their crazy long hair, like, "I saw my boy needs a haircut."
Tommy McNamara spent some time in Vancouver this weekend. He was at the game, I heard. But it's just MLS is just the league that keeps giving, man. Like imagine like a group of like little kids from like the inner city of Vancouver at the game that are now getting free haircuts. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
DC United versus LA 0-0. Next. But before I go next, Galaxy are one of 2 teams in the league that have a positive record away from home.
So what?
So they're out of that toxic, smug-infested city of LA. What an absolute rat hole.
Never been there.
New England 3-0 over Toronto.
Oh, that was big.
Biggest. I said result on the weekend on my notes.
They didn't have their whole starting 11, Toronto, because they're off with the national team.
Yeah, but Giovinco returned from injury.
And Giovinco's still injured. Yeah,
but he returned. I just said he returned.
Oh, wait, he returned.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
He didn't start, but he came on. Did nothing. But Fagundes and Aguadelo on the score sheet. Like I said, surprise result of the weekend. Montreal 1-0 over New York Red Bulls.
Do you think New York Red Bulls are going to fold?
They need to find a way to get more than 3 people at their games, man. Yeah.
Beautiful stadium.
Beautiful stadium. I just don't know about Harrison, New Jersey.
I really want that stadium just to like sit there for 20 years and I want to visit. I love like old rundown stadiums. I love it.
So we should go to a DC United game.
Yeah, no, they're going to tear it down though.
I know, that's why we should go.
No, but I want to see it rot there. I don't want it touched.
Have you ever seen like pictures of old Olympic venues?
Yeah, I went to the Barcelona 92 Olympic Stadium and it was the most nostalgic moment I've ever had. I was nearly in tears.
Why?
It was one of the first.
What year was that? 92?
92. It was one of the first Olympics that I really gave a shit about. And we had a sprinter called Linford Christie, won gold. We had
Dream Team.
Huh? Well,
Dream Team.
I shook dice with Larry Bird in Barcelona.
I loved Carl Lewis. Carl Lewis was a phenomenal athlete in 92, and he was like doing the long jump, the 100 meters, the 200 meters, the 4x1. It was amazing. And the Barcelona theme song, Barcelona, it was great. And I went there in September, and just driving around the stadium, all the blocks on the stadium, and I just like putting all the pieces together and like how bustling it was 25 years prior. It was a moment. Anyway, next.
Well, I'm glad you had that moment, and I'm sure our listeners are too. But Montreal, more importantly, beat the Rebels 1-0 in Montreal this weekend.
You just said that.
Yeah, but Jamali scored, Swiss DP on loan from Bologna. Actually a really good striker.
So if you're on loan, you can be a DP?
Yeah. Yeah. Joseph Martinez for Atlanta is as well. He's on loan from Torino.
I feel like it's a waste of a DP, but anyway. But actually, it's probably a good idea because you can keep changing your DPs and you're not stuck with Kaká.
Yeah, you're not stuck with Kaká, who we'll get there later. But FC Dallas 6-2 over Real Salt Lake. It was 5-0 at halftime.
And Callum Acosta didn't play either.
Yeah, but 16-year-old Jesus Ferreira scored in his debut, 89th minute. Homegrown chin from the lit Dallas Academy, probably the best academy in Major League Soccer, if not the entire country. So it was a big day for him.
Now pass the wine.
There you go, buddy. All right, I top myself off too. Wine break. It's a full glass, bud. There you go. The culture.
Yeah, cheers, bud.
Cheers, bud.
I'll tell you about this later. Tell you about this off air. I got something to tell you guys.
Is it bad? Can you just tell us now for the listeners?
It's good. It's wine related. We got it offered. First sponsor.
Ooh. Really?
Oh, we got a question as well. We're an hour in, so we got a question.
All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. We still have to do Gold Cup roster. Colorado 2-1 win over Columbus. Probably my favorite result of the season because it was the MLS donkeys of the career donkeys on show. Late comeback win. Higuain scores for Columbus earlier in the game. 80th minute comes. The 5 fans in Colorado are sweating. They're bugging out in the high altitude, and then Kevin Doyle and Alan Gordon rise from the ashes of donkeydom with just chest passes and heads and hold up play, and they go on to win. Imagine having both those idiots in the field at the same time, but that's Colorado. Shout out to Stan Kroenke. That wraps up Saturday. Sunday, Orlando versus Chicago.
We just got done with this.
We just finished watching that game. 0-0. Orlando finished the game with 9 men.
Yeah,
two red cards that were deserving.
100%. And I just want to comment on the Heat. Carl Larin was walking out and he was already exhausted before he even started running around.
He's Canadian. He's going to be leaving for Europe soon.
But everyone just looked. It was just heavy humidity, and we talked about this in previous pods, like how are Orlando going to cope with that humidity when they're down there?
Well, and 2 of their most important players, Kyle Larin and Ben Johnson, are both Canadian internationals that. Definitely. I mean, Ben Johnson was playing in Portland and Toronto before this, and he's a very good midfielder, but he's not used to this. And
Schweinsteiger was also playing for Orlando in goal as well as the midfield for Chicago. He looked exactly the same.
Joe Bendick. Yeah, got called up to the Gold Cup.
Yeah,
but
Bendick,
game going on right now
is give it up for those fans, Orlando fans. They were like,
oh, dude, I hated the fans today, bro.
Yeah, they did.
Cursing. Like, ref,
they
you
were?
suck.
I just watched the last
ref,
10
you
minutes.
suck. That was like their chant after both red cards.
2 deserving red cards. I've watched it.
2 clear red cards. Every time the camera panned to like the supporter section, guys just cursing, middle fingers, unintelligence, like women plugging their ears because it's too loud. I'm over it. But Seattle versus Houston is going on right now.
We'll be visiting Orlando in the next few months.
Yeah, I'll be there soon. But next week, some MLS teams are in action, others aren't. U.S. Open Cup is been going on, but this is the first round that the MLS teams are introduced. Tune in. Every game is streamed on YouTube. It's kind of a cool thing to watch. We were talking to someone tonight that was saying that DC United is playing a PDL team, a bunch of college kids pretty much, and it's run by a liquor store manager. It's a wine store. And the guy that manages the wine store is the manager of the team as well. And it's all college kids that are now playing DC United in the Open Cup. So it's kind of a cool story. But the highlight of the Open Cup this week is definitely the derby, New York City FC versus Red Bulls.
Hudson River Derby.
Yeah, Hudson River Derby, Saturday evening in Harrison. And like I said, every game is on YouTube, streaming on the U.S. Soccer's channel, worth checking out. But on to the Gold Cup to wrap it up real quick. The roster was released.
Actually, I want to say just some news in between this. Jonathan Brooks has just been signed for a record
We literally went over this
did?
5 minutes ago.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, carry on.
Okay. No, but he left. It's interesting because he left. I said it
All right.
during the
Wolfsburg.
talking about the game, but he left Hertha, which finished in 5th place, to Wolfsburg, who barely survived relegation.
Yeah, I just read it down here. So anyway,
Yeah, no worries, bro. But
Gold Cup was announced, and Connor, you love the Gold Cup. Michael, you love the Gold Cup as well. There's no qualification into the Confederations Cup this time around, correct?
I don't know.
No.
Obviously not.
No, there's
because,
not.
yeah,
There's nothing to win. You just win the Gold Cup.
Okay.
This time.
But the biggest story by far was announced earlier. I think it was either yesterday or today. But Kenny Saif, a Israeli American who plays for Ghent in Belgium, really talented midfielder, played in the Champions League this year. Was torn between Israel and the United States. Has declared his, his nationality as an American, and he's been called up to the roster immediately. So I bet Bruce Arena must have been on the phone with him this week and helped solidify that decision. And he's a very good midfielder. Like I said, plays for Ghent in Belgium and was in the Champions League this year and performed very well in both Belgian league. What's that? The Jupiler. How you pronounce it? The Jupiler League.
Jubilee?
The Jubilee League, and the Champions League. But some other interesting names. I think this is a really good opportunity. This is kind of like the January camp, the Camp Cupcake, like on a higher scale. Like I said, 40 players have been called into camp. A lot of fringe guys. Christian Roldan from Seattle has been called in. Someone that MLS heads have been saying needs to be called into camp. Dom Dwyer finally gets that elusive call up after just declaring getting his U.S. citizenship in February. Will Trapp's back in the picture. Forgotten man, Eric Lehigh, Nottingham Forest in the championship calls up. He was
Player of the year.
He was Nottingham.
Forest.
What about
Nottingham Forest Player of the Year.
The guy for Reading, Danny Williams.
Danny Williams did not get called up, and I have that down here in my notes. Probably the best player in the championship final, in my opinion, on both sides of the pitch. Reading lost to Huddersfield in the final, so Danny Williams will not be a Premiership player next year, but very talented. But maybe he can still get called up for the World Cup qualifiers later on. But it's a good play. Matt Miazga got called up for Chelsea on loan at Vitesse in Belgium. But Jeff Cameron, John Brooks, DeAndre Yedlin, Bobby Wood, Fabian Johnson all left out. Probably to keep him healthy for World Cup qualifying. Also, some club commitments probably tied into there. And Chris Wondolowski also called up. And if he makes the roster, I might off myself.
Right.
It might be time for me to depart of this earth because there's nothing else to live for. And a question I have for you guys is Julian Green done? He's not in this roster. Played for Stuttgart in the Bundesliga 2 this year, second division. They won promotion. I think he had a somewhat bit part role in the German second division. Is the ship sailed on Julian Green?
I think the ship was never sailing. I think it was a surprise call-up when he did get called up for that last World Cup. No one rated him at that point, and he's had limited opportunities since. So maybe.
We'll see. But one thing with this roster I like, despite the names I left off, it's a very competitive roster. Pulisic called up, Dempsey's called up, Jordan Morris, Altidore, Dax McCarty, Kellen Acosta. So
And they can move shit around. They can bring in other guys for
Yeah,
deep play.
Phil
and
Harbour
knockout
looks like he's
phases.
done as well now for the national team. I think.
I think at this point, Phil Harbour is officially... The fact that he's not on this roster probably means he's done. Tommy Mack's called up.
Yeah.
Kind of hoping, honestly. I think everyone kind of has a soft spot for Tommy Mack. Just
It's kind of a cult player.
Yeah, he really is. Cult player with the hair. Not the hair's gone, though. I don't think anyone likes him. But I'm not going to read off the whole roster. Everyone can look it up. It's on the internet. But as the actual final roster is released throughout that qualifying or that camp, whatever, to make the roster, we'll obviously be
So when
keeping
does
people updated.
the Gold Cup start?
Starts in July. So we have about a month away.
And the training camp starts June 25th.
Yes, in Nashville, Tennessee.
Cool.
First game, they have a warm-up game against Ghana in Hartford, Connecticut, that the American Outlaws of Albany, our local chapter, are hosting a bus trip.
Yep, they told me to give a shout-out on this podcast. If you're interested in signing up for a bus trip, contact the Albany Outlaws to book your ticket for the bus trip.
Yeah, but First game is July 8th against Panama in Nashville, Tennessee. So, definitely looking forward to the Gold Cup, but that probably just about does it, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do have one question.
Oh, we do have one question.
From our listeners.
Matt Behan, huge friend of the podcast, at Delmar Owl. We love you, Matt. Fellow Arsenal fan.
And we haven't talked about the Premier League in a while because it's been done and dusted for a few weeks now. But
Bernardo Silva is probably the biggest story so far in the Premier League. Bernardo Silva signing for Man City for a nice chunk of change. Definitely. I was just talking to a few friends that are also, not to talk about Arsenal, I say that every episode, but you just see the difference in like clubs' mentalities. Like as soon as the season ends, Man City is signing top midfield talent, and like Arsenal's looking at a Belgian 19-year-old.
He's got 100 million to spend.
Yeah.
Do you think Arsenal? Let me read the question out, and then I have like some points to make.
Okay, the question. This is paraphrasing. Pretty much, if the question was directed towards me, if Arsenal could sign 2 players in 2 key positions, what would they be? For me, still need that world-class striker. I think Sanchez is going to leave. Arsenal's bid for Mbappe, somewhat laughably. They bid £85 million, which is equivalent to about 100 million euros, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard today that they might be bidding an extra £15 million, which will be about 150. He's not going to Arsenal, but it's hard. It really is hard to say because I think a lot has to be done with Arsenal. I think they need to clear out House from top to bottom. It's not going to happen. But
about House, but
you still need a holding midfielder. I don't think Granit Xhaka is the answer. I think Xhaka.
Aubameyang?
I would 100% be good with Aubameyang. 110%. I love Aubameyang, world class striker, no doubt.
I just think, I mean, we all know Wenger signed another contract, another 2-year contract this past week, and he's still in charge of the transfers for Arsenal. And I don't know whether Arsenal feels like when he's given this money, he feels like it's his money. You know what I mean?
I think he does. I think he personally he feels so attached to the club that he feels like it's his own pocket money he's spending, which is why he's been so frugal. It's crazy.
I think. I mean, if we see Mbappe go to Real Madrid and Benzema's up for sale, I think that it wouldn't be a big shock if Benzema comes to the Premier League and sees out his career with Arsenal and gives that a shot.
I would love that personally.
I don't think that's out of the question. I really don't think that's out of the question. And I think they need another centre back. Arsenal do.
Nah, they're gonna extend Rob Holding's contract. It was announced today, which Rob Holding has been probably one of the.
I mean, Chambers is going to come back this season.
Hopefully, I mean he was on loan at Middlesbrough this year. Mm-hmm. I would expect him to come back. But that just about does it, right?
Yeah,
but Matt, our Twitter buddy says.
Oh wait, we got to talk about Tuchel, but let's do it next week.
Oh yeah, Tuchel was sacked this week from Dortmund.
Yeah, Squid.
Maybe they'll probably have a fill-in. They'll probably hire somebody in the next week or so.
But Matt says that Arsenal should sign Icardi from Inter Milan, a defensive midfielder, and Icardi's been very, very good for Milan, a lot of goals. I would be cool with that. He's so young, but he stole Maxi Lopez's wife. Not Maxi Lopez. Who was that player? Who did he steal his wife from Argentina? And that's why Icardi hasn't been called up.
I have no idea.
Wanda. Her name's Wanda.
Really?
Dude, I looked this up real quick.
Tevez.
He stole someone's wife from Argentina, and he's just been smashing on the reg. Shout out to him. Legend. He has her kids tattooed in his body.
What?
He's a wacko.
But yeah, thank you, Delmar Al, for tweeting us. You can always tweet us at the Third Touch while Connor is googling Wanda Nara.
Bro.
Yeah, she's.
Maxi Lopez. Maxi Lopez approached by Mafia with offer of breaking Mauro Icardi's legs. Brilliant.
Nice. Well, everyone enjoy the Under-20 World Cup. The 2 qualifiers coming up this week. You'll be at Pittsburgh next week. Don't know when the next podcast is going to be released.
I can do an episode. I'm going to a wedding on Sunday. I can do an episode Saturday or Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Mike, for giving up your valuable time in New York City. We appreciate it.
Shut up.
Keep on.
Thank you for hanging out, guys.
Yeah, the multicolored numbers is what it's all about. Thanks, guys.
What is it all about? All right.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
guys.
Who do you think you are?